Today marks a year since I elected to have my left leg amputated below the knee. I didn't know originally what I was going to do with this day, but I have decided today is going to be a day all about me, and I am going to fill it with things that I love to do. So here is my 1 year anniversary day. Next, I am heading shopping because I am hoping to find a skirt so that I can start wearing skirts a bit more. They're actually going to be easier for me to manage than trousers, which is what I've worn all my life. So here's to a new phase. I used to climb this hill reasonably effortlessly. It's not that far down to the car, but on a prosthetic leg, oh my god, I underestimated how hard a little but short steep path is, especially when there are boulders to get over, and I didn't bring the sticks. Going up in the ankle going down, but I'll be glad when I get to the bottom, let's just say that. This bit is the bit that challenged me the most. This bit. Grabbing grass and staying low to the floor. That's how you make sure you don't fall over. I feel like it was a lot easier coming down over it than it was going up over it, because of how much range the foot has got, and because it's easier to step down than up when you've only got one working leg and an ankle that you can't tell where it is. That hill up there with the sun shining on it, that is where I have just been. Up to the top of that. So this is the outfit I decided on. Hopefully looks alright. And my last event of the day to celebrate me is I'm going to take myself out for an Indian. I am just back from my Indian, and that was interesting because the last time I went there I had just got a prosthetic leg and I couldn't walk without crutches, and I went for a takeaway and they had to carry it to the car for me. She reminded me of that today. So that is a long time ago. That's got to be maybe 8 or 9 months ago. So yes, it's really cool to have local businesses that recognise and remember their customers. And we had a wee conversation about how I was doing and all that sort of thing. So that was really cool. So I had a list of stuff that I wanted to get done today, and bloody cat, here is what it was. So I had these in no particular order. Swim, which I did it at the beginning of the day. Go to Riverton Rocks. I did that towards the end of the day. I wasn't sure it fit in, but I did. Buy a skirt, and I did. It's right here. Go to Harvey Norman. I did. The reason for that is secret at the moment, so I can't reveal it right now. Waffles for breakfast I had down on my list, and I actually didn't do that. I went for lunch with a staff member, and whilst I was at it, I bumped into the ambulance driver that took me to hospital when I had the amputation and brought me back after I'd had the amputation. So that was nice, and I bought her a coffee.
perfect day for me to actually bump into her, 1 year to the day. So yeah, make a list of my achievements. Now I did. I'll get that list in a minute. I did that this afternoon whilst having coffee in the Tuatara, one of my favourite coffee shops. Go for an Indian for dinner. I did. Call my dad. I'm going to do that after this. Make a video blog. Well, I'm doing it right now. And disconnect my phone. And I did. So I've got through that whole list. And that is just great because my list was being all about me, all about the things that I want to do. And it has filled my day from beginning to end. I went out of the door at just before 9 and I have just come in. And what time is it? It is 10 o'clock. So that's the perfect way to mark my 1 year anniversary, is by chocking my day full of stuff I want to do. So here is my list that I made of stuff that I have achieved in this past year. Now, I'm not sure that this is an exhaustive list. So if you've been following along with my blogs and you think there's something I haven't mentioned, I would love to hear from you, because it's always good to remember all those small things you didn't consider to be that big that actually took you to where you need to be. So here is my list. I learned how to use a prosthetic leg. I learned how to walk again. Now, a lot of people say they learned how to walk again. No, I actually had to learn how to walk again on a prosthetic leg with a foot that doesn't belong to me. That was really hard. Learned to walk without a limp. I was determined to be able to walk as if you can't even tell I don't have a leg. I have actually achieved that now, because I know it because my physiotherapist was at the same supermarket as me. He did not reveal that he knew me, but he saw my car parked in the disabled spot and he knew it was me. My car obviously says personal trainer massage therapist on the side. His daughter had popped into the shop for something, came out and said that lady shouldn't be in that parking spot. And he didn't reveal he knew me, but yeah, that from a child commenting that she can't even tell you've got a prosthetic leg. I was wearing jeans at the time. That is the ultimate compliment. So I know that I've cracked that. Learn how to get in and out of a car. This was really hard. I always looked like a pleb every time I did it. Now I can do it, and you probably wouldn't even notice how I'm going about it unless I'm tired. But I do still have to have the door wide open to do so. If I haven't got the door wide open, it's probably more obvious that I struggle with it. Learn how to navigate slopes and steps. Yeah, like earlier when I mentioned the walking up to the tower. Up is really hard because the foot doesn't flex that way. Down is easier because the foot does flex that way. But yeah, slopes and steps have been really challenging for working with a prosthetic and a hydraulic ankle that you don't have control of and don't know where it is in time and space all of the time. Learning the ins and outs of how to manage my skin, the stump, the prosthetic, the leg, and all its bits and pieces. So at the beginning, I remember them saying, oh, how does that feel? And I was like, you're asking me? How the hell would I know? And now I know when I need to add a sock. I know when something's rubbing and I need to call Ryoji, my leg guy. I know all of those things because I've learnt them now. Learn how to ride a bike outside and get on and off safely. This was a big one. And I managed this in August. And that was June, July, yeah, 3 months after I actually bought the bike and 9 months after I'd lost my leg. So I'm really chuffed that I've managed to achieve that before the end of the 12 months. That was the biggest challenge of all. There's no book for this. You can't go and read a book and find out how to do it. You have to work out what works for you. Equally, we had to work out what type of leg for riding a bike works for me. So I had to work out what was needed to make a bike leg, work out how they needed to change the socket. Wait, do you need a foot or not? I don't know. We worked that out too. And then I worked out how to get on and off this bike over here. That is not modified at all. And a lot of people helped me get there by modifying the mountain bike and all that sort of thing beforehand so that I could do all those baby steps to get to that. That was a big step. Creating change. This was really good. Allowing a wheelchair into the entry into the Festival of Running. That is this weekend coming up. They've never allowed a wheelchair entry before. When I first contacted them, they said, no, you can't enter. I said, why not? Because you're in a wheelchair. And that was the reason. Like, that's the reason. So it's a really, really important step that they've allowed me to enter that this weekend. And I'm hoping that paves the way for further wheelchair entries in future years. accepting and learning to manage my PTSD. Now that came as a bolt out of the blue. I had no idea that it was even on the radar. I didn't even know what PTSD is. I'm not saying it's under control, but I'm learning more about it, and that is a good step. Awareness raising in disability, local, national and international. And that's shown its colours through the Amputee Awareness Week. I'm really pleased that I'm able to raise awareness of disability to people that really, it wouldn't even be on their radar, to people that are in the disability sector and deal with disabled people, but just have never thought of it from an amputee's point of view, on all the small things that I've mentioned this week that people have gone and been like, oh my God, I never even thought of that. That has been amazing that I've been able to do that in such a short time, and I'm hoping that I can continue to do that. I completed a swim race as an amputee. My first one was 7 weeks post-amp. Yes, 7 weeks, 7, 8, something like that, weeks post-amputation. January, or maybe it's 12. January of 2021 was my first swim race, and I've done multiple since. I'm back to swimming, obviously. And that was the most important goal for me. And I sent a video of me swimming to the surgeon the first day I got back in, because I was so pleased. And today I did 2K because 2K was the distance I did the morning they chopped my leg off. So I did 2K again today to celebrate that 1 year on. 5-kilometre push in a wheelchair the day I got it. And I'd never used a wheelchair before. Now, the only thing that I can say that has made that possible is all of my swimming and my shoulder strength. Because I expected a wheelchair propulsion to be really, really hard. Now, I'm not super fast, I've got to say. But I've only done it 3 times now. And the 5K round the estuary didn't give me any shoulder trouble at all. I was tired at the time, but I've had no pain since. So yes, all my fitness prior, I've been able to translate into what I needed to do right now. Learning how to balance without a leg, learning how to balance with the leg. Yeah, that's been a big challenge. Chops 5 kilos off one side and now tell me to balance. You know, your whole centre of balance just goes completely off and you have to learn it again. Improving my ability to mobilise smoothly and safely and increase speed. So this I'm still working on, but I want to be able to mobilise around. Now I know that some things I'm going to have to do differently, but I want to be able to do things smoothly and unassumedly so that people don't even notice that I've done it differently and that it's a problem. I'm getting there, but there are still some things that I need to work on to get 100% through that goal. But I'm making progress. How to adapt in order to return to massage. So yes, I'm still working on that, and I actually do think that I'm going to need an electric table to help this be sustainable. But I managed to figure it out, and when I did the nurses talk a few weeks ago, the tutor there asked me, did I still massage standing on one leg? And I completely forgot I even did that. So yes, in the first a couple of months of trying to go back to massage, I took the leg off and knelt on a rolling stool, and I remember it now. And I talked to one of the other massage clients about this, and he's like, oh my God, yeah, I remember that. And now I'm able to massage standing on 2 legs. I sit down for more of it. I've had to use different type of leverage, but I've worked it out. How to adapt to mobilising around the gym and demoing exercises. This has been a big step forwards. When I first started back in the gym, I felt like I was being reminded of the disability every day. Well, I still do, but I'm a bit more accepting of that. When I'm demonstrating something that involves knee bend, foot flexion, that sort of thing, I have to tell people to look at my right leg because my left doesn't do what a leg does normally. And that really bothered me to begin with. I've worked a way around it. I'm never going to be able to make the left leg do what the right leg does because it's not the same. But I am getting there, and I'm finding ways around it so I can still demonstrate it without it being a big problem. Accepting my new look and wearing the leg uncovered in public, as I have done today. I am getting there, and it's kind of a blessing that it was done at the beginning of summer last year because I've gone through a whole winter of long trousers and things like that. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, yeah, okay, I feel comfortable with this and I can probably uncover it. And it's coming up to summer, so lovely timing. Changing minds and educating people about disability. That comes back to the awareness raising. Learning how to navigate the world in general as a disabled person. And that is on all levels. I can't just go online and book a hotel. I have to phone them up and find out whether they've got a disabled access shower that has a seat, whether they've got ramps in and out and blah, 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 and lifts and all that jazzmatazz. And that was a pain in the right royal ass to start with. I have now learnt which ones to not call, which campsites to just not call, which camps I can call, and that sort of thing. And it's a bit of a work in progress, and I'll get there. And it's also a little bit of acceptance as well, I suppose. Let me see. Mental acceptance of the situation. This is big. This is one I'm still working on. I wouldn't say that I'm 100% there yet, but I am getting there. There's nothing I can do to change it. It's not going to grow back. But what I've had to do is learn how to accept it and be confident with things the way they are. Like I say, it's still a work in progress, I'd say. Learning how to deal with the medical system. I learned what I actually need to make life run smoother. So a lot of times people are like, okay, so we're going to build your wheelchair. What do you need? I don't know. So we're going to give you some equipment to help you get around the house easier. What do you need? I don't know. So time has gone on and I found out what things I can't do, what things I can do, what things I struggle with, and I've got better at that. How to adapt my role at work, I'm talking about, to suit my new situation. So I am doing that. All of my customers know that I'm disabled, know that I've got a prosthetic leg. None of them are bothered by it at all. In fact, they are less bothered about it than I am, actually. So yes, I'm adapting to that, and I'm actually going to start, when I've officially got the return to work, advertising as somebody who does fitness for the disabled. So how to change my mental approach to life. That's a big one for me. Slowing down, accepting I can't do as much as I used to do, and my relaxation being something else, because I used to be an active relaxer and I cannot do that now because I have to stop and let the leg rest like I had to at the top of the tower before I could walk back down again. Mindfulness, which I do a lot to aid my sleep and recovery. I never used to do that at all, and I didn't even know what it was. Learning how to navigate life independently. As a single disabled person, I am getting very good at that. And learning how to get some of my fitness back from scratch. Now, you know how you've probably said in the past, oh, you know, yeah, I've let my fitness go a bit and, you know, I'm starting again. No, you probably are never starting again until you've been unable to walk for a year. You've been laid up in hospital for 7 months of the following year, and then you're having to learn how to walk, and walking is your exercise because you can't even walk 10 paces without having to sit down and gasp for breath. That is starting again from scratch. And that's what I've had to do. I remember lots and lots and lots of hours of physio sessions walking on the treadmill, and that was like a really freaking hard workout. And I had towels and water bottles and needed a spare shirt in the car afterwards. That is starting from scratch. So if you think about that whole list, which is quite a long list, I'm not sure it's exhaustive, but I sat in the coffee shop drinking a smoothie and making that list. That is what I've come up with for the past year. So what is the next year going to have in it? Well, I'm hoping by the end of maybe the start of the one after. I'm hoping by the summer of next year, I'll be in a position where I'm able to ride the bike far enough to be able to do an aqua bike and or a triathlon. It depends how it pans out with the running blade and running. I don't know how that's going to turn out. We'll have to see. So that's my goal for next year. Anyway, I have had the most wonderful day I could have possibly had for the fact that I'm celebrating 1 year of having had my leg chopped off. I hope you've enjoyed the ride, and I'll see you soon.